everyone. So welcome back to Between the Threads series. I'm really excited to have one of our guests here, Sam. And he is one of the co-founders of Maker Change World, but I'm going to let him introduce himself because he does so many amazing things. And the whole point of the series is to interview change makers that are making huge differences around the world. So Sam, take it away.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you for having me. My name is Sam, and I'm the co-founder of Make a Change World. We're an environmental organization and media, and what we do is raise awareness about environmental issues that mean a lot to us, that needs to be solved. We do that through telling stories, through making videos, going on crazy expeditions around the world, like kayaking down the most polluted river in the world on plastic bottle kayaks, or running across the United States on shoes made out of recycled plastic bottles. So we do different things. Right now, big project of ours as well is going back on the ground and actually cleaning rivers. So I co-founded Make a Change World with my sister Kelly and my brother Gary. Sorry, and we met Isabel because we did a video on her for a series that we're doing in New York, a video series, and very happy to be speaking to you today.
Thank you, Sam. So let's jump right in because I wanted to have the audience learn more about you and everything that you've been doing, because huge inspiration. So thank you for everything that you've done, you and your family, sister and your brother. So can you please share with us your experience on running across America? What are some wins, some struggles, and some lessons that were learned?
Yeah, absolutely. I started this run. So at Make a Change World, I think we really believe that no idea is crazy enough to protect our planet. And, we're in such a dire need with so many environmental issues. But for us, plastic pollution is really what sticks out, because we grew up in Indonesia, and, seeing plastic pollution firsthand in our faces on a daily basis was really something that, since the age of 12 was for me just a huge thing, a problem that I saw a need for change. And so we come up with these crazy ideas. And for me, the craziest idea that I could think about while living in the US was to run across it. So I ran from New York, 3,055 miles west to Los Angeles. And I partnered up with Party for the Oceans and used their shoes made out of upcycled plastic bottles. The trip was, an incredible experience. It was 191 days, 6 marathons a week, so a lot of running. But the main reason why I did it was that I was running through, hundreds of American cities, and it was an amazing conversation starter to have that conversation around plastic pollution and what each individual can do, and that every step makes a difference. So along the way, I spoke to kids, school children, business owners, and met with politicians, and just tried to have as much impact as I could. And it was, it was a struggle. I think some of the struggles during that journey was running a marathon and then speaking to 700 school kids, and needing that energy of like public speaking, and you want to be motivating, you want to be inspiring, but at the same time you're absolutely exhausted because your body is in so much pain from running. But I also just learned so much. I learned that the plastic conversation, is very different based on who you're speaking to. And there's a lot of places in the US where people have dozens of other problems that they're dealing with, and plastic pollution isn't necessarily one of them. A big eye-opener for me was running through the Navajo Nation in New Mexico. And some of these communities unfortunately have no access to supermarkets, and the only place that they can buy their groceries is in a gas station. And unfortunately, every single food product in the gas station comes wrapped in plastic. And then on top of that, they have no waste management. So one, they don't have the option of buying, in bulk or buying products that are more sustainable. And two, they don't know how to dispose of it, so they end up burning it behind their houses. So that was, a big eye opener, and it made me realize that a lot of work to be done, but it was an amazing journey, and I'm very happy I did it.
And it's really amazing what you did, because just your story alone, and also you were sharing like keeping your energy and staying motivated. But the fact of what you just did, it's also really inspirational for the kids, for a younger generation too, and like everyone that you met. But and then also hearing, and I didn't even know that either, how you share with the Navajo Nation too. It's like there's still work to be done, but the fact that it's true, no idea is too crazy. It's the fact that you took the initiative, you did it, you made the change, and you've just empowered and inspired tons, every single person you've met. So that's what's really cool. And I believe in like the power of what you do when you're doing something really good and from the heart, it just magnifies. So I think that's really amazing.
No, thank you. I think there's, and what's exciting is that, you know, I spoke to maybe around 10,000 people on my journey, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them. And a lot of the kids that I spoke to, or the schools that I spoke at, have now reached out and said, you know, hey, our cafeteria no longer uses single-use plastic cups, or, you know, we bought a water filtration device, and we now like give all the kids in our school a reusable water bottle. And before, you know, all the kids would use plastic bottles. And on social media, we're receiving a ton of messages from all these kids that we met, and that's definitely by far the most empowering and inspiring part of doing a journey like this, is seeing the actual change that happens. And it's not necessarily, you know, one big piece of legislation that will get passed, you know, that like suddenly, you know, at the time Trump was president, and it's not like Trump is suddenly going to ban single-use plastic. But I think these micro wins all together make it so that it's, you know, it's something significant and empowering.
Yes, I always say like those small changes make a huge difference, because it's always, I actually had a conversation the other day. It's like, well, no, we have to like, it's a huge systemic change. It's like, yes, but think about it this way. If everyone was doing small changes, that's huge. Then that's what, 6 billion, 7 billion people making small little changes can make a huge, so it's thinking, it comes from us. It starts from us. And then,
right. No,
but that's really exciting to hear about the kids too, because that's really important too, because the kids understand, and they're willing to, they see what's going on. So it makes a huge impact. Oh, okay. So we shared about, let's see. Okay. So when we're in an industry, we're always trying to make things better, right? And then we always encounter some kind of pushback. So have you ever experienced any kind of pushback in your industry, and how did you overcome that pushback?
That's a great question. I think with plastic pollution, you're always going to have, you know, the main pushback, which is that plastic production, you know, isn't slowing down anytime soon. Today, you know, the world produces over 380 million tons of plastic a year. That's twice as much as the amount of plastic that was produced the year I was born in 1997. And that number is only expected to double by the year 2034. So, you know, we're pretty much going the wrong direction. And I think in terms of a setback in my industry, which is, you know, raising awareness about plastic pollution, trying to create real change, tangible change, legislation, behavioral change, and you're hearing, you know, these statistics that are completely going the wrong direction. That's a huge setback. And I think maybe staying motivated and really persistent and not giving up is really key. But yeah, that's a huge setback. I think, you know, another one is we're cleaning rivers in Indonesia every day. And no matter how much we clean them, you know, 90% of plastic in the ocean right now comes from rivers. And so no matter, we can clean, you know, an entire river and collect 10 tons of plastic that day. But after a big rainfall, we're just going to have as much plastic flow down that river. And so I guess being able to switch the conversation around, how can we instead of cleaning the river, let's educate the communities around the river, to really show them like, hey guys, you know, every day we're collecting so much of your plastic that's flowing down this river. Here are some switches, and I think the educational part is really important to fighting that setback.
Definitely agree, because we know the fashion industry is definitely contributing to all that waste. Right. I actually wanted the audience to hear too about the the kayak that you guys made out of plastic bottles and you guys travel down the dirtiest river. I think that's really important too. This is another example of educating too.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was back in 2017. We, with my brother Gary, we at the time Googled most polluted river in the world. This was just when we had found out, that 90% of plastic in the ocean comes from rivers. And so we thought to ourselves, well, there must be one river out there somewhere that must be incredibly polluted. And I mean, there's hundreds of rivers, thousands of rivers that are polluted, but we thought to ourselves, why not Google most polluted river in the world and see where it is? And it turns out that river is actually in Indonesia, where we grew up, on the neighboring islands that we grew up in. So it's a short hour flight away from where we lived. And we thought to ourselves, what can we do to raise awareness about the state of this waterway and hopefully create change? And, to us, again, going back to the crazy idea, it was what's the craziest idea we can do? And we thought to ourselves, let's go down this river on the same materials that pollute it and build 2 kayaks out of 300 plastic bottles each, and then go down this river for 2 weeks. We brought our cameras with us, documented our journey, highlighted the stories of local heroes along the way that are, actively trying to clean it up. And we released our videos online, sent them to everyone we knew. And we were super amazed that, in 2 weeks, they got a few million views on Facebook, and they actually got the attention of the Indonesian president, who 4 months after going down the river, the Indonesian government invited us back to the river. And there we met with the Indonesian president, who announced a full rehabilitation plan for 7 years, where he would hire 7,000 military soldiers to clean that river entirely. So that means a big polluting contributor was actually textile manufacturers. So, like all the Gaps, all the H&Ms of the world, they all have factories along this river. It's actually the dyeing capital of the world. So they'll dye all of their clothes. And then they illegally dump all of these toxic chemicals and dyes into the river. So on top of all the, the plastic waste, it was also a lot of toxic waste. And so as a result of the expedition and the Indonesian government announcing this cleanup, they permanently closed down 70 factories. And then on top of that, they, obviously are now cleaning it up, and we're actually celebrating, actually later this month, the 3-year anniversary of that cleanup.
That is amazing. Dude, hold on. It's really inspirational because again, it gives the audience hope. It's like, really, your ideas, just try it. It's worth the try. And if it didn't work out, try it another way. Right. So it's really man, that's so exciting. So that's really exciting to hear. And the fact that also the government, they were open.
Right.
They listened. They were like, oh shoot, I think we need to start. Yes, you need to start now.
I think we definitely, there's a sense of luck in being in the right time at the right place, with obviously the Indonesian president acting on it. But at the same time, I think there is, or I think that does speak volumes, in that, if you do come up with something creative, or like you said, just go out and do it, and you're really not losing anything. One, it's an amazing experience. You're going into this community that, again, they don't necessarily really understand the impacts of pollution, or I guess they do firsthand because they get sick, but they don't have any other options. They don't know what else to do. And if you can change anyone's perspective, even if it's just one person, then it's totally worth it.
Totally agree with you. Even if everything you're doing, you change one person actually makes a change for themselves, it was worth it. But what's the irony is, it's actually empowering so many people, like in different levels.
Right.
Oh my goodness, I get so excited hearing and then let's see. And can you also, I wanted to make sure I touched on what was your inspiration behind the work you do, because you did talk about, I guess another question, when were your parents, or like, were you influenced by like your family, like a background, or like how did you, because I know you lived in Indonesia.
Right.
And what was the inspiration? Like, when did you start? Like, how old were you? When did you realize like oh my God, the aha moment? I want to make sure audiences know that too.
Okay. My parents were not, involved at all. I think it was actually the opposite. We had, you know, started cleaning beaches when I was 12 years old. My brother was 14 and my sister was 16. And for us, it was more, we'd go to school, we'd come home at 3 p.m. Growing up in Bali, it's a beautiful paradise. The beach is right there, pristine white sand, clear blue waters, and then you just see plastic pollution, in your face. And so that was just a big aha moment. It was, we have two hands, this beach is really polluted, so let's clean it up. And we started, the three of us, we started inviting our friends, and we started seeing, the movement grow slowly and slowly. And at the time, there weren't really a lot of beach cleanup organizations and movements, especially not in Bali. And so it was relatively a small community that would actually clean up the beach. But then it started growing. We started seeing that true sense of community, their willingness to help. And then just seeing that movement grow, that was at the time we called it Make a Change Bali. And then we moved to the US. We studied film, and then we changed from Make a Change Bali to Make a Change World, focused on making videos. And then we went on that expedition down the Tritaran River in Indonesia in 2017. That led to other expeditions. Then I did my run. Now I live in New York, and really trying to, I guess, focus on two different things. One is the cleanup, which Gary, my brother, is really spearheading and doing an amazing job in Bali by cleaning rivers. And then still focusing on the media side. So what videos can we share? What stories can we share to raise awareness and educate people? And a big project right now is working on actually the documentary. We're working on our first feature-length documentary, which is going to be about my run and that entire story.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's very exciting. The power of storytelling. It's just capturing the emotion, just everything. Like, I'm a huge fan of documentaries, so I'm so excited. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we're super excited. We're working with a very talented screenwriter from Spain who lives in New York, and he is helping us craft the story, and that's really exciting. We're hoping to launch it in the fall or late summer. So a couple more months in the editing suite, and then we'll be hopefully launching on, the dream is to be on a streaming platform somewhere.
Listen, I got no doubt. I have no doubt that
that's the goal, but that's the dream.
That's awesome. And then definitely let me know, keep me updated, because I'd love to blast that out, because I'm a huge fan of what you guys, all the work that you do. So keep me updated. And then let's see, what are 3 things that you can share with the audience that they can do to help our environment?
3 things. I think like we've already talked about, I think I'm a big believer in that every small step makes a difference. And so, one small thing could be looking around your home and doing a plastic audit of each room that you have around your apartment or your house, and maybe looking in your bathroom and seeing what are all the items in your bathroom that come packaged in plastic that have alternatives to them. For example, shampoo and conditioner. You can very easily now find shampoo and conditioner that comes in bars, so you're avoiding that entire bottle. Same thing in the kitchen. Look at you open your fridge, and maybe when you're grocery shopping, you realize that you use those little plastic bags to put your vegetables in. Well, you don't really need that. You don't actually even need a bag. You can just put it on your cart, or you can buy those reusable nets that are much more practical, that you can keep for multiple years. I think another big thing that you can do at home is to compost your food waste. I think I'm a big believer that, it's the stats are out there. 1/3, for example, in New York City, 1/3 of all of New York City waste is compostable food waste. So you can easily, and what happens with food waste is when you put it in your garbage or your garbage, it goes to landfill where it emits methane, a very potent greenhouse gas. And so that entire, your little carbon footprint, your individual carbon footprint, you can significantly reduce that by just composting your food and not throwing that away in your regular bin. And there's multiple composting sites here in New York that you can drop off your food waste at. So that's the second thing. And then I guess the third one is just educating yourself and, really knowing, just doing your homework and knowing what you can do to be a more conscious, eco-friendly individual. There's just so much you can do, and there's so much resources out there. And yeah, those are three things that I guess you can do.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing, because it's interesting because with the education and bringing people and like giving them bringing the awareness to them, it's sometimes it's challenging, but it also, whenever you get the person that's like, oh my God, I didn't know. It's like, well, I just saw something that you did. So it's like also the impact of what you do too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the being the role model of
Right.
change. It also inspires others to do the same thing, and it's like a whole new world. Is like, I didn't even know about sustainability. It's like, oh, well, let me talk to you now. So it's really important. Just you being the role model too is really important too, because you're doing it. You inspire others to do the same thing. So thank you.
Yeah, I guess maybe being, like you said, being a leader by example, and anyone can, if you compost or if you do these simple switches that relate to plastic pollution, then telling your friends about it, because these switches are really not that difficult, and it does take maybe a little bit more time to find that product, but it's so worth it and really makes a difference.
Because it helps everybody.
Exactly.
And then how can everyone stay in touch with you?
Right. So Make a Change World is our handle on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're posting daily tips on how to live zero waste on TikTok. So if you have TikTok, follow us there. Otherwise, all of our longer pieces, more educational, informative videos are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and Make a Change World. And then my personal Instagram is Sam Bencheghib. I just post some other stuff there, but yeah.
Okay, great. And then I'll make sure to have all that information in the description box for everyone, so they can start following and stay up to date and also learn what they can also do. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell so you stay up to date whenever I release new videos every week. See you soon!